Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Hewitt, and I'm here to talk to you about how climate change affects the moose population. I'm going to be going over four different things. The first I'm going to go over is just going to give you a brief explanation on what climate change is, how it affects our environment, and stuff like that. For the second point, I want to describe to give you guys a better picture on how this is actually affecting the moose population. I'm going to go over their living conditions and why it's important to them. For the third, I'm going to talk about how climate change is actually affecting the moose population. And fourth, I'm going to give you guys a brief little rundown on what we can do to actually help. First off, climate change in its like simplest definition is the changing of weather and temperature of a certain location. These changes can either affect the weather in that particular area or how the earth is getting warmer. So, as we all know, climate change has been brought up in the news a lot, and we can all tell that the earth is actually getting hotter. This comes with many, many downfalls in the fact that it's changing how our environment works and how it affects different species and the way they live. In the moose's case, they live in the northern part of America, like Canada, Alaska. Some may live in Idaho, Minnesota, in those areas. But the reason they're able to live in these areas is because they have adapted. They store fat just for these winter months. They're also able to live in like the hot summers because in those areas it does get cold in the winters and hotter in the summers. But it's in such a little time frame, which is very bearable for the moose's living conditions and how they're able to walk, feed. They mainly run off of energy. The more energy they use, obviously the more tired they get and stuff like that. So how does climate change affect the moose population? Climate change can change the way of living, and since it's getting hotter, they thrive in the colder weathers. Since it's getting hotter, it's not getting as cold, and this comes with a lot of side effects for the moose. In the case of when it does get hotter for a long period of times, they suffer from something called as heat stress. So they store fat and try to live in the colder seasons, which is where they thrive, which is when they do the majority of their hunting and stuff like that. But when it gets hotter, since all that stored fat, it makes them obviously hotter, which can have they won't move as much, they feel sluggish and things of that nature. Another reason why the moose population is also getting affected by climate change is their reproduction process. As stated here, by factors that affect moose survival, it states that moose feeding is reduced in long periods of high temperatures. This lowers the fat reserves and the moose need for winter. This reduction in fat reserves could result in an inadequate quality and quantity of milk for their calves. This mainly states that since they're running low on fat reserves, their milk quality isn't as good for the calves, for their young, and the quantity they won't be able to produce as much milk. This is very bad because of the fact that as the earth keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter, less moose will be able to feed their young and will cause a extinction since they won't be able to be the parent that they need to feed their young and things like that. In New Hampshire, the graph on the right hand side just shows how the population of moose have been at a constant downfall since 1994 to 2016. As you see, as as it shows that in 1994, the moose population was kind of like at 7,900, and it's been decreasing. And this was taken in 2016, and it shows that in 2016, the moose population was roughly around like 3,500. But what can we do to help? There's many different ways we can help. You can either donate, you can start a group to help protect these certain animals. I would like to point out that the National Wildlife Federation has done a great job in making it known that the moose population is also decreasing, and they've been giving out different ways for them to help out. And on their website, you can go to and it shows like a little donation button, and anything helps. To honestly, like the most little you could do, what could change the world. And this is what we have to do as humans to have a better future for these lovely, lovely creatures. And that's it. Thank you for your time.